To our business meeting, our last one of the calendar year. It's December 26, 2023. The time is 2 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. And if you would join us in a moment of silence, please. All right. And let's see. Mr. Rutan, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Any changes to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, you want to do public comment?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
You are totally fine.
Sorry about that.
Public comment before we begin. All right. Hearing none, we will. I would take a motion for meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes, items 1 through 14.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. And consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendars items 15 through 17.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. And payables.
I move that we approve payables for December 18 through 22, 2023 in the amount of $976,073.67 and jury panel payments in the amount of $3,486.22.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right. And item 19 is a bid opening, and this is for, it's item 15 of work package 3 for the Kootenai County Justice Building expansion and Bouten construction. So if you'd like to open that, and yep, we'll read that into the record. It was received, it just was not read on the 21st. So we'll get this done.
Okay, this came from TMI Systems Corporation in Dickinson, North Dakota. For bid package number 15, Casework. The bid amount, base bid, is $675,690.
Okay. All right, so I would take a motion to acknowledge receipt, and we'll get that to the correct party.
I move that we acknowledge receipt of bid number 15 for the Kootenai County Justice Building expansion.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 20, board approval request, and this is the Justice Building expansion and City of Coeur d'Alene commercial permit application and fee for work package 3. And Caitlin, are you handling this one?
Yes, Caitlin Smith for the record. This is the commercial permit application for the building permit required for work package 3 of the Justice Building expansion. The application has been reviewed by the owner representative, David Mendez, and upon board approval of the application and associated application fee of $44,512, it shall be submitted to the City of Coeur d'Alene. The permit fee is to be paid using ARPA funds previously allocated to the Justice Building expansion.
Okay, Mr. Mendez, anything to add? Okay, questions, motion.
I move that we approve the request for the Justice Building expansion and City of Coeur d'Alene commercial permit application and fee in the amount of $44,512.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right. Item 21, Second Amendment to Agreement, and this is with Passio Technologies for the Intelligent Transportation System Technology Solutions and our Transportation Department. Chad, are you on the phone, Mr. Engel?
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Chad Engel with Public Transportation for the record. We are seeking approval for the Second Amendment to our Intelligent Transportation System, or ITS, contract with Passio Technologies. Funds from the current board-approved ITS grant will fund this amendment. Legal has reviewed and approved the amendment. It will be a one-time fee of $7,500 and a monthly fee of $375.
All right, questions, motion?
Nope. I move that we approve the Second Amendment to the agreement with Passio Technologies and Intelligent Transportation System, Technology Solution, and RMO.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 22, board approval request, receipt and invoice processing for the paratransit vehicles. And I believe these were approved last fiscal year in November. And so, Mr. Engel, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Chad Engel with Public Transportation for the record again. So these are for our paratransit fleet buses. The PO was approved by the board on November 8th of 22, and it was to purchase 6 buses. Due to supply chain issues, there was a significant delay in the production of the buses. We have received the buses and invoices and are now looking to process the invoice payment. There has been a reduction in the invoice price due to production issues, so we wanted to bring this before the board because of the reduction in price and the time in which it has taken to process.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request for receipt and invoice processing of the paratransit vehicles with Resource Management Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 23, and this is a new Taser 10 contract with Axon Enterprise, Inc. and our Sheriff's Patrol Division and Lieutenant Arts. And you have somebody to help you out today.
I do. Lieutenant Arts from the Sheriff's Office, and I have Deputy Chris Coleman with me because he's our Taser expert. So if I don't know the answers, hopefully he will.
Okay. All right, you want to walk us through this?
Yeah, so what we're looking at is, I'll kind of give you a general overview of why we're moving this way and kind of what the financials look like for us, and then kind of what it is going to look like for the guys using these instruments. Taser is getting rid of our current platform that we use is called the X2. That's the model. They are no longer going to be supporting those, and because all of our X2s are out of warranty, if one breaks, it's done. So we can't replace them. So we've been looking to replace them. This new model, one of the reasons they're phasing X2s out and bringing the X2s in is because of the effectiveness of this new. It's called the Taser 10. Ironically, has 10 cartridges as opposed to 2 cartridges. But they are single cartridges instead of dual probe. So if you imagine electricity needs a circuit to complete, with the single cartridges, we can make contact, miss a few times, and then make contact. So the effective rate goes way up. So I think they're seeing about a 90% effective rate as opposed to the old X2s were 57%?
48%.
48%. So that's why Taser's phasing them out. So it makes sense. We didn't know about the change until I wasn't made aware of it until about the end of August, and so at that point it was too late to get it into fiscal budget for 2024. So we've been working on this since then. I was trying to utilize some different dollars to purchase these, and unfortunately the 2 different avenues that we were looking at, neither of them allowed for a purchase of equipment like this because it's done through a contract. So that was why there's been kind of a delay on this. I was really trying to get drug seizure money to pay for this, and it just wasn't able to happen. So that being said, we are looking at buying 78 new tasers that would replace the tasers in patrol. And the way Axon, who owns Taser, works now, instead of just buying a single taser, we're buying a certification. So it comes with the taser, the training cartridges for 5 years. If we utilize it during those 5 years on a suspect, they replace those cartridges. It comes with certification trainings for our instructors, and it comes with training suits. So it's kind of like a bundle package deal, which is why it's now called a certification as opposed to just a piece of equipment, and is why it's a contract. So that being said, some of the numbers I sent you guys earlier, it is a 5-year, essentially it's one whole contract, but they're able to break it up over 5 years. The first year, which would be this year, we would end up paying $38,666, which is roughly, we will need $22,000 more this year over what we budgeted for tasers. Because right now we currently budget for the taser, for the cartridge, for the training, and for the batteries kind of individualized. This will now be kind of a package deal. So it is going up in cost, but because current tasers are phasing out and these are the new version, this is where I see us needing to move towards. A couple reasons I would like to do this. One, it's going to make our guys on the street a lot more safe and effective and efficient because these new tasers have a much greater distance that they're effective at, 45 feet, as opposed to our current tasers are between 22 and 25. And so that gives us a much bigger gap where we can deal with an issue as opposed to, let's say, a lethal force encounter. So that's kind of the main reason. Secondly, Taser's offering us a pretty good incentive to get this done. If we don't get it done this year, the price goes up about 15%. And so since we have to do this anyways, it's about a $69,000 savings to do it all at once. I recognize that it is a large sum of money. However, because we're able to kind of pay for it over 5 years, we're going to end up probably having to replace all of our tasers anyways over these 5 years. So the business side of me says saving the $69,000 is a good way to save some taxpayer money. So that's kind of what I have for you. What questions might you have for me?
I think you kind of answered most of them for me. Questions?
The only thing is it says no county funds on the initial document, so I was just curious why the cover sheet said that.
That might have been submitted prior to finding out about drug asset dollars. That was the initial intent, at least to pay for this year's portion. And then when we finally got through it, because we can only use drug asset monies to buy equipment, not contracts for equipment, they won't allow us to do it.
So the $38,000, that's what we would have to pay for the first year.
Correct.
And then how would that account for our existing budget for tasers?
So this year we've currently budgeted roughly $20,600 for tasers, but we've spent some of that because of trainings and whatnot.
Sure.
So we have about $16,000 left in our taser budget for the year. So we need $38,000. So we're going to need roughly $22,500 in addition.
Okay.
Are there other line items that can make up for that?
Possibly. Those were all the specific taser line items. And this is just for patrol, obviously. Without looking at each individual one, I mean, obviously we have some non-cap, but I don't know what's already been allotted for, and I'd have to talk to my captain first because sometimes stuff gets spoken for in those categories. But just the taser category, we would need an additional about roughly $22,500.
Well, given the size of your budget, I'm sure that that's something that there's plenty of opportunity to try to offset.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, okay, I don't have any further questions.
Were you able to get the 2 addendums signed?
So, yeah, that was another thing I wanted to address. In talking to Axon, the one addendum for, and then I got here, the non-appropriation clause is actually in the contract, and he pointed it out to me. I had Dave look at it. It's under page 16.
Okay, so I guess we didn't get the full contract then.
So it was a little confusing. Under the quote, there's a link, which has the 42-page contract attached. So Dave read it. It does have it in there. He likes our verbiage a little bit better, so I'm still going to ask that they add that to it.
Okay.
But it is in there. And then the China statement as well, we got a hold of them. They said that's not an issue at all. So it's being processed right now. I just don't have a signed copy back, but they have no issues bringing that forward to us.
So Dave, are you good with both addendums then?
Yes.
We can approve it today with knowing that. Okay. Does the motion need to make a contingent upon the
You
China?
can certainly mention that, and then some problem with those getting signed later, you could always revisit it.
Okay. I think that's about it. Bill, questions?
I'd like to wait till we get the whole thing. I mean, I'm all in favor.
Just for clarification, so the non-appropriation clause is in the contract. Would you prefer, Dave was okay with their verbiage, he liked ours better, but
Yeah.
it is in there. Are
I
you
get
okay
that.
with that?
But we haven't got that.
Right, but I guess, let me ask this question. If we don't sign it today, then what happens to our pricing?
Goes up 15%, unfortunately.
Between now and the next business meeting?
We have to get it finished by the end of 2023.
Yeah, December 31st.
Yeah, I mean, you know, unless there's something glaring in the legal agreement, I'm not so sure it's that big of a deal.
Right, but the motion can be contingent on getting those addendums signed. So, yeah.
And we've been in conversation with our rep this morning, he's fully aware of it, and he's working on it. Just, you know, he's got to go through his loops too.
Right.
The China statement's pretty straightforward, he verbally gave, yeah, that's not a problem at all, just have to get a signed signature back on that one.
Yeah.
And then the non-appropriation clause, it's in there already, they deal with that all the time, he said it's not a problem, so.
Okay. All right, well, I'd rather not deal with the 15% markup. So, if you would like
Do you
to,
want a motion?
yes.
Bill, you want to do it, or you want me to do it?
Go ahead, Bruce.
I move that we approve the new Taser 10 contract contingent upon the addendums being finalized for Axon Enterprise, Inc. with the sheriff and patrol office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, item 24, this is the 2024 Hagadone KCSO Marine Lease Agreement with Hagadone Hospitality. And Sergeant Miller, are you on the line?
Yes, Commissioner, I am.
Okay.
Sergeant Brian Miller, for the record, yes, this is just a renewal contract. Nothing really has changed. It has gone through legal, through Darren Murphy. We've already made the payment October 1st for $8,170, which we had budgeted for. Again, this is just an updated agreement.
All right, and then does this motion need to be retroactive to November 1st?
They have it dated November 27th on there, and we've just been trying to get it in front of the commissioners since then, waiting for legal to look at it. So I don't know. I don't believe it has to be retro. They understand that we've been waiting to get it in front of them.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the 2024 Hagadone KCSO Marine Lease Agreement with Hagadone Hospitality Company in the Sheriff's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 25, board approval request for funding for the Coroner's Pod number 2. And Dr. Johnson's here with us.
Thank you very much for your time. As a quick reminder, we are, in order to reduce the expenditure of or the tax burden on the people of Kootenai County, we are applying for national accreditation with our coroner's office, and we have been told verbally that it's cleared and passed. We just don't have the paperwork yet, but the normal time period takes 17 months, and we have been told verbally that we're there at 6 months. But one of the contingencies is that we needed to have a family consultation room, which is why we this fall had asked for an expansion and some capital costs to move into a pod so that we could meet those qualifications. And they said, as long as you keep moving, we'll give you the accreditation. And so we were provided with some funding in order to begin the project. I now have the final numbers to complete the project. And I actually have some good news in relation to that. We were going to need to clean out the pod and sanitize that pod because of its previous people that had been housing that. And we had gotten bids for that up to $15,000 to clean the pod. But because of the ongoing good relationship we have with our current cleaning company, once a quarter they donate 3 days of cleaning to any particular group, and it has to do with whether it be firefighters, et cetera, and so they decided to donate their 3 days to us. We got that pod cleaned for free, so that was really wonderful. $3,000 that we might have needed for furniture may be coming from KEC North, looks like. Phones that we thought we were going to need Looks like because of the new phone systems coming in, we don't need the phones. So really, all of these expenses have just come down to, we have 2 remaining invoices left that total $5,200. And so what I'm requesting is we've got a little bit of, furniture and a few things left. And so we're just asking that if $6,500 could be put into our capital cost. I've got the other 2 invoices totaling the $5,200 with me, but if we could just do that, then we could be completely done with it.
What was approved before?
What was approved before was $11,000, but that was for putting doors in and painting and construction and finishing the walls, et cetera, because we had to have a completely separate room. It also involved it was inadequate lighting in there. It wasn't designed to be an office space because we're now moving our expanded deputy coroners into that facility as well to make additional office space. So we needed new lighting.
So
And
this
the
is,
wiring to go for the computers and the phones and.
right, the only bill that I have here is $4,000 for the electric.
Right,
So
and
you're saying you would like another $2,500 on top of the 4.
I have one for $1,253.16, which had to do with, in essence, there was extra labor involved to finishing the doors because there was the painting, et cetera, et cetera. It ended up costing a little bit more than they had anticipated.
Sure. But in total numbers, this is another $6,500 on top of the $11,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're asking for?
Correct.
Okay. All right, that wasn't spelled out in our documentation, so that's why I wanted to get it clear for the record. Questions?
Where's the money? Which account?
It'd be
We're
fund
just
balance.
allocating fund balance.
Unless the autopsies or something comes in less, and the coroner may be able to cover it, but we won't know until the end of the year.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, questions?
No.
Motion?
I move that we approve the request for funding for a coroner Pod 2 not to exceed $6,500.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, items 26 and 27, I believe, can be handled together. Ms. Stevenson, is that correct? We've got the termination of ground lease AAL 2020-995 hangar sale, and then ground lease AAL 2023-900, which is the hangar purchase.
That's correct. Commissioner Kim Stevenson from the airport for the record. There was a hangar sale, and we are asking for termination for K&K Air Ventures, LLC, and a new ground lease for the hangar for Ronald and Katy Stainer. It is a 17,409 square foot building, and the annual revenue will be $4,195.56.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we terminate the ground lease AAL-2020-995 hangar sale K&K Air Ventures LLC with the airport and approve the ground lease AAL-2023-900, the hangar purchase with Ronald and Katy Stainer.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion carries, thank you. And now we've got items 28 through 32. I think we should handle these advisory boards appointments in blocks, if you are okay with that.
Yes.
Okay, so what we have is our airport advisory board appointments of Mr. Richard Rutan and Timothy Komberec is actually a reappointment. And Frank OConnell is going to be an appointment. And Larry Hodel, I think, was the alternate, along with Ross Schlotthauer. And all these terms are 12/31 of 26. Any questions or motion?
You want me to do it, Bill?
Sure, go ahead.
I move that we approve the advisory board appointments for the airport as active members Richard Rutan, Timothy Komberec, Frank O'Connell, and Larry, just Frank O'Connell. And for alternates, Larry Hodel and Ross Schlotthauer, for their terms ending on 12/31/26.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen, and welcome. All right, the next one is planning and zoning, and that would be items 33 through 35, and it's an appointment of Victoria Slater, Terry Harwood, and Tamara Bateson, terms expiring 12/31/26. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve the appointment of Frank O'Connell,
No.
We're down to 33, Bill.
30.
Yeah,
Oh, you
33,
did the
34,
airport.
35.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I apologize.
that's okay.
I move that we approve the appointment of Victoria Slater to Planning and Zoning, of Terry Harwood to Planning and Zoning, of Tamara Bateson to Planning and Zoning, and that's it.
And their term
For
expires.
terms that end 12/31/26.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, now we are on to the North Idaho Fair Board. And this one's got some alternating, actually just one is different.
First one.
Yeah, the first one's going to be different. So for the North Idaho Fair Board, we are going to appoint, looks like only one alternate at this point.
Yes.
Okay, and 4 openings. So the alternate would be Todd Fusier, and that would be term expiring 1/18/27. And then we've got 4 reappointments of Gerald Johnson, Kevin Kirking, Linda Ryder, and Sharon Nelson will be now become from an alternate to a regular member. And those terms are 1/17/28.
So I move that we approve the appointments on the North Idaho Fair Board. For the first one, Todd Fusier as an alternate with a term expiring 1/18/27. And the next appointments are full board members, Gerald Johnson, Kevin Kirking, Linda Ryder, and Sharon Nelson, with their terms expiring 1/17/28.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you, folks. All right, item 41 is board approval request. This is, it's actually kind of a correction to an easement for the Fairgrounds Fire Station with Avista. So when they went out there and got the ditch dug, they needed some changes again. It's been run through legal. And are there any questions?
No questions.
Okay, motion?
I move that we approve the request for Fairgrounds Station Avista easement between Avista and the BOCC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, items 42 and 43 can be handled together. These are resolutions 2023-97, which is the request to classify documents, and then 2023-98, which would be the approval to destroy those documents with our HR department. Dorothy Cross.
Yes, Dorothy Cross for the record. We have been cleaning up documents, and we have a number of investigation documents that were for investigations that occurred prior to 2021, and all parties to the investigation have left the county's employment prior to 2021. We would like to classify those and destroy them at this time.
Okay, questions, motion?
Well, before I give the motion, I'd just like to thank you
Yes.
publicly for your service to this county in the many years you've been here, and for the opportunity to be able to work with you.
Thank you.
That's right, your last business meeting.
Now, are you
Last
really
one.
retiring this time?
I really am.
Okay. I move that we approve Resolution 2023-97, the request for approval to classify documents for destruction, and Resolution 2023-98, the request for approval to destroy classified documents.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Thank you, Dorothy. All right, item 44, notice of cancellation. This is Molitor and Associates. The public defender had signed a government representative to help with some bill cleanup that is not needed anymore. So this is a notice of cancellation per the contract, which would give the 30-day notice. So any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, motion?
I move that we approve the notice of cancellation with Molitor and Associates in the Public Defender's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, and then items 45 and 46 are related if we need the executive session. But item 45 is the board approval request, and it's a temporary rollover of vacation hours for special cases. We have two employees that have some hardship reasons to get extensions for 6 months for their rollover hours. If you would like to go into executive session, I can explain details, but in your packet you had kind of the background on those two employees. So what would you like to do?
Well, my only question is just, as a policy, is this something that we can justify as an exception, or is it something that we kind of open the door where, others say, well, what about me too?
So in the past, what has happened is special cases have been brought before us, and we've been able to do those on a one-on-one. I think several years ago it was by department. We had a couple departments in general that needed to be done. So, in this particular case, these were the only ones that were brought to my attention as far as hardship-minded. So that's where we went with this, and it's a temporary rollover. In the past, we had done more long-term.
Now, I'm fine with that. If you're fine with that as well, it's just I want to make sure that we're not opening, a small Pandora's box, if you will.
No, I mean, I feel like the reasons have been justified on these two. There's a lot who are losing hours, but a lot of them had control over that, and these two did not.
Okay.
So,
Well, unless either of you want to go into executive session, I'm fine to proceed.
okay. Okay.
I move that we approve the request for the temporary rollover of vacation hours under the special cases with the BOCC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, our status pending update list now, facilities expansion, and Mr. Mendez, would you like to give us an update?
I don't have a cost update for you.
Can you hit your button right there? Thank
Sorry.
you.
David Mendez with Turner and Townsend Hearing. Don't have a cost update for you today. We're looking for the GNP second week in January, so I think at that point then we would move forward with those, being able to give you cost information. The contractor received bids last week at the last meeting, so you're aware of that, but they're still analyzing the contract bid documents, checking licenses, contractor's license and business licenses that have been coming through last Thursday and today. I met with your staff regarding the cost reporting that we'll be doing. We've got 2 reports that we're looking at, and I'll run that form past you once we agree on which one to go with. So that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Questions?
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Impact fees.
We are still waiting to hear back from council on that.
Okay, and council is going to be setting a date? Is that what we're kind of waiting for?
Well, that and the comments from the Rathdrum City Attorney.
So really a rework of the numbers?
Well, they have to be incorporated into a public hearing, but he tended to agree with the council's concerns, and So I don't think it involves us having to make any other actions. It's really up to him to incorporate that into a public hearing so we can do that. And it's, we're continuously sending emails just to say, hey, where are we?
Okay. Gel pods. Any update?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay. And ARPA projects. Caitlin, are you still on the line?
Yes, Caitlin Smith for the record. I apologize. Let me get my microphone where it needs to be. Caitlin Smith for the record. And for ARPA projects, Mr. Mendez has spoken to the Justice Building. The admin, HVAC, and jail generator projects are in procurement and are tracking on time and on budget. The subaward to Wellspring Meadows and the prospective subaward to Children's Village are tracking on time and are fixed budget, so necessarily on budget. We have been in contact with Children's Village and with Wellspring Meadows regarding their second reimbursement.
Questions?
And Children's Village is working with you, because I think we gave them kind of a deadline to get us another application.
Correct. Their deadline is February 15th, and they are working with us.
Okay. I probably missed it, but I just didn't see it in our status update document.
Yeah, I didn't see anything come through either.
So, okay. We'll update that for the next meeting, just to put February 15th in there.
Thank you.
Okay. And then PMR. So we got legal's answer back, and they would like us to reword some stuff about insurance in the contract for our on-site clinic location. So we will be dealing with that this week, and we'll be revisiting it next week, hopefully signing a contract.
Yes, hopefully, because until we have one, we don't have one.
I know. But right now it's on our end, so
Okay.
it's not on their end. So that part's good. All right, with that, I will call for public comment. Hearing none, nobody on the line, Jonathan? All right, 2:37, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.